few times past, and I've laughed and cried and had all the emotions. So it's going to be a good session today. Nathan is the founder and CEO of Dash Media, a video production agency dedicated to helping senior living organizations tell their authentic story. So I'm excited to dive in today, Nathan, with you on how to use storytelling throughout the sales journey.
Yeah,
Go ahead and take it away.
awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me on, uh, Katie, Sarah, and the the rest of the team. Pumped that you guys put this together. It's sometimes it's hard to travel as much as we all do, and so to be able to hop on and get all this amazing content and learning without having to take the time and spend the money to travel.
Yeah, no baggage.
Super thankful for it. So this is kind of today. It's kind of a unique presentation for me. This is the first time that I've done this particular presentation. In the past, what we've kind of been known for at Dash Media is a social media production kind of company, but really, when it comes down to it, we do really any video work. And so you're going to kind of see where each video production type project that you would think of and could do, how it kind of funnels back into what we're all trying to achieve, and that's get people to come through our doors, move in, or get people to come through our doors and work in our communities. So we're going to look at that, the senior living storytelling funnel today. And the goals really is to see the opportunity that is in front of us to tell these stories. We all know that we have so many amazing stories, and it's a library of knowledge within each resident that lives in our community. But the big question mark and the big how to is how do we capture all of these stories and share them in a way that best represents us and withholds our brand standards and at the same time have a creative arm that we can create a lot really fast and kind of keep up with all the different changes on the digital landscape. So we're going to talk through the opportunity and then the strategy, some of the ways that we've seen people successfully tell their stories, and then the impact. How this actually turn into people moving in, people wanting to work in your communities, and my favorite one is changing the perception of how people view senior living. But my quick introduction for me, 11 years ago, I was a football coach at the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. There's Coach Rick and I was the guy that kind of signaled the plays in on the sideline. But I realized, that was my dream growing up. That's my 50,000 hour rule or 10,000 hour rules of what you studied your whole life to become an expert. I love X's and O's of football, but it's just something inside of me that told me that's not what I was made to do the rest of my life. And so didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I went to a senior living community that a friend invited me to and just fell in love with the stories of the people that live there. Fast forward about 7 years after that experience, I met this gentleman in the middle named Larry from A.G. Rhodes. He was a World War II vet who lied about his age so that he could fight in the infantry and storm the beaches of Normandy at 17 years old. And he just told these gut-wrenching stories, but then shared this amazing love that he had for his wife. And it just left me at that community. It's like, why doesn't the world know Larry's story? And so fast forward about 6 months after that interaction with Larry, I started Dash Media and started an Instagram account called Senior Living Stories, and to share people's stories like Larry and to change the perception of how my friends viewed senior living and what I did for a living. And so to date, over the last almost 4.5, coming up on 5 years, we've reached over 400 million people around the world. We've made over 15,000 videos, and we've filmed, I'm not exactly sure on this number, but a conservative number would be over 200 days we filmed within senior living communities. So we've seen a lot. We've really built this amazing team of people that genuinely care about these stories. And so when we're putting all these stories together, we know that we can all agree that we all have stories that are amazing. that we want people to hear and we know people would love. But where do all of these stories kind of play within the journey? When do we share them? Where do we share them? How do we share them? How do we kind of manage the different team that goes into creating these stories? And so we're going to go through each stage today, from short form social media stories to more testimonial driven content, to how you can convert those into a paid ad campaign, and then the long form brand videos. Once you've kind of earned the trust and created a fan out of a potential resident or potential employee, how you've kind of earned the right to share them a 3 to 4 minute video that tells your who, what, and why of a company. So we're going to get started, but before we get started, we're going to take a look at what does good storytelling look like. And so we're going to watch this 1 minute video that I stumbled across about a month ago on an airplane.
You're not sleepy, are you? We're gonna go for a walk.
Dad, can we go for the walk?
Getting ready for the pool? Nah, I'm just gonna chill here. Is that okay? Yep. Hey, Dad. We couldn't sleep.
That gets me every time. So why is that good storytelling? Well, someone like me who could be a potential customer of a Disney cruise line that has never thought about Disney, has never thought about cruises, don't even really like cruises. I've seen and heard bad things about cruises, and I don't really want to go on one. But when I see that and it brings that emotion, I start thinking about this little guy and my time with him, and I know that I want to go do something like that. I want to experience something like that because the time is short. And so that is how we kind of have to think about storytelling in senior living. People will love senior living. But there's been this narrative that it's kind of the last chapter and it's where the end is. But it's really the next chapter, and it's where people can thrive and love. We just have to tell these stories so people can see themselves in those shoes, in the shoes of the people that live in our communities, and so they'll take action. And so you're going to see some examples today, kind of in each one of the different stages of the storytelling funnel, that kind of play a part of that journey. Before we get into each stage, just want to catch us a 30-second history lesson. The world really didn't change with how we consume stories for a long period of time. So in the beginning, it was just kind of, we sit around a campfire and we tell stories. And then 3500 BC, someone had the bright idea to start writing those stories down on some papyrus. And then Johann Gutenberg in 1500 AD invented the printing press. And so we were able to kind of mass produce stories and consume stories from around the world. And then it just kind of happened really, really fast. And so when you fast forward today, it's short form, long form video content, it's photos, it's print, it's all these things kind of combined, and it's so fast paced, and everywhere you look, you're consuming some form of content. Today we're going to focus on the social media and the short form and long form video content that seems to be just exploding them in the last 5 to 10 years. So we're thinking top of the funnel at the beginning. And so these are the people that don't know anything about your organization, your community. Maybe they even have a negative perception of what senior living is. And so how do we reach those people? Where are they? Are they going to different platforms that we may not be on? And so a surprising state of social media in 2026 is YouTube is actually the number one place for 65 plus to consume short form video content. And 64% of 65 plus are on YouTube and use it actively. And I watched my father-in-law, he got hooked into the YouTube algorithm. And my theory is because YouTube is where you can watch shorts on a television. And so a lot of older adults are going to television to watching those shorts, and it's kind of their Instagram Reels feed, but on the television. Facebook in the last quarter for us, the Facebook Reels have just exploded, where last year Facebook wasn't great in terms of videos. Instagram used to be amazing. It used to be the one that you could grow the fastest and gain the most followers. Now it's kind of the hardest one to grow. Their algorithm has changed so much and it's so different. But the point here is you can kind of chase the algorithms and figure out what to be on next. My opinion is they're all like the hard part is producing the content and capturing it and getting in the right format. Once you cross that bridge and you have really good content, you really should be sharing your content everywhere, because there are people on every single platform that are potential residents or potential employees, and the content it'll change quarter to quarter or month to month on what's getting the most views, but just distributing the content on those platforms is on everything that you can is my recommendation to our clients. The other thing is these 4 platforms, the ones that we focus on: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. In this world of AI, where people are using AI so much to search, these all tie into building that authority to show up in those results. So they're looking at engagement, they're looking at views, they're looking at all these things that these short form video pieces of content are producing, and you're establishing your authority with those videos. So you are getting likes, you are getting comments, you're going viral is fun, but there are all these other ancillary benefits to sharing your stories on social media. So the next question or objection a lot of people have and why they don't share stories is, it doesn't work. And so why doesn't it work? And so what we've seen so many times is when social media doesn't work, it's exclusive Canva graphics, celebrating holidays, things that make the organizations the hero instead of making your residents or your team members the hero. And so one of the big things that we ask about every single video that we create is, does this piece of content inspire, educate, or entertain our desired audience? And if the answer is yes, we should share it. If the answer is no, you should make sure, tweak it, and change it to inspire, educate, or entertain. You'll never really be able to predict what videos will go viral, and what videos won't. There's been so many videos that have gotten a lot of views that I would have never predicted, but there's others that I'm like, this is a guaranteed viral video, and it does not get nearly that many views. So the key is, over time, quantity will produce quality, and once you do get those pops in engagement and views, you can kind of replicate that. And how do we produce more of what's working? So an example of that is our first video we're going to watch together. This was a lady who, on the Senior Living Stories channel that I created, we reshared some content a year after it was posted on the Tailgate channel, and we reshared it on the Senior Living Stories channel, and it went crazy viral. It got 25 million views on just TikTok alone But then after it went viral, you'll see the video go viral, and then you'll see about 6 months after that, Jennifer McCallahan from Mississippi Senior Services, she actually visited Miss Dottie and gave her a little prize. So we probably won't watch the whole thing, but we'll watch about half of it for you guys.
I married a guy who had asked me for a date when I thought, why in the world is he asking me for a date? He dated the cute girls. And I just couldn't understand it, but I thought he was cute. So I thought this was wonderful. Ended up marrying him. So about 3 years after we were married, I asked him, why did you ask me for the first date? I know, we had fun. It was good afterwards, but why the first date? He said, you wore an orange corduroy dress. And I thought anybody who would wear an orange corduroy dress liked to have fun. So we had fun the rest of our lives.
So, Miss Dottie, we have a very, very special gift for you today.
Ooh, I love the color.
You love the color.
Look how pretty. It's corduroy and it's my color. It's my favorite color.
It's an orange corduroy dress. Do you know what that...
It symbolizes my story. My story, how sweet. When I wore an orange corduroy dress, I didn't know how important it was, but it colored my whole life. I think somebody in heaven is looking at this, enjoying it.
Yes, he is. There have been 25 million people to view your story.
You have got to be kidding me.
I'll show you.
25. I can't even think that many. That's beyond my comprehension.
So when people really like your...
So that goes on for another couple minutes. It is so good. Go to TikTok, Senior Living Stories, watch the rest. It is, Miss Dottie is a sweetheart. And the funny thing is, what was trending on TikTok was everyone links to buying an orange corduroy dress. It was a bunch of people saying they wanted to try out an orange corduroy dress to see if they could find their husband, just like Miss Dottie did. So you have stories like this, nothing to do with the community, but all of a sudden all this attention can be on your residents and make people fall in love with you as an organization. Another example of that is in memory care. When I first started Dash, a lot of people said, so you're only going to tell stories of independent living residents, right? Like, we can't do this in memory care. And one of our early partners, Anthem Memory Care, said, no, we can tell the stories of our people and our residents with dignity and not make these families feel so isolated in their problems that they're alone in the things and struggles that they can deal with their loved ones. And so this particular video will share a lady who has middle to late stages of dementia, but it shows Reed and how much he cares for her and how much he knows that she will eventually have all those memories of playing the piano and music come back. So let's watch this one.
Do you remember what instruments you used to play? Do you remember playing this one? Oh, you're pretty good, Ann. You know that?
Well, it's better with you.
I gotta say, I play a lot better with you two.
So Miss Ann remembered how to play. And I think that what she said at the end should be the tagline of our industry is, it's better with you. Reed brought that out of her, and it's just better when with Reed. Another story, this is the kind of unexpected, random, in my opinion, acts of God that happen throughout telling your stories as well. This is a couple that lived in a living care lifestyles community in the upper Northwest. And 3 days before this gentleman passed away, this video sharing their love story went viral, and the lady, her gift, she was really struggling with it, she got to see this story and all the people, how much they fell in love with their love story.
When we first started dating, we said, I'm going to be odd because there's more odd days in the month than there are even. And on the even days, I say, yes, dear, even if he is crabby. And on the odd days, he said, yes, dear.
That's one of the things that sort of keeps us out of the woods. If you have a disagreement, you need an out. And so our out is, but I love you. And that kind of smooths everything over. We never go to sleep without reinforcing our near and dear and love for each other. That's the last thing we do before we go to sleep, is how much we love each other.
So we're going to talk about like how to, create, how you can use this content to generate residents and generate leads. But that's really why I like doing this, if I'm being completely honest. That people like Ralph and people like Dottie and people like Miss Ann, I mean, that's why we're all in this industry, in this business. And I think that everyone, people that love this industry, need to be reminded of that. They need to be reminded of, these are the people you're taking care of and why we do what we do. And it makes you better at your job when you get those kind of reminders. 2 more quick videos and then I got to speed it up just a little bit. So you'll see examples of tours later, like tour videos, more of your professional. But on social media, you got to fit the medium that it's being shared on. And this client had a viral trend idea of a speed tour with one of their residents.
Speed tour. Hi, folks. You are at Arbor Oaks, the classic possible place for old folks like me. Come on into my residence. Yes. What do you got here? I go in here. Well, I guess I can do this and I can do that, but I can't do the other thing. Over here, they make us do our own laundry. But guess what? Nobody has to know we have it. And then when you get...
So we're speeding it up for time. But he takes a tour around the apartment.
I like sitting outside, feeling the nice air, and just being home and feeling totally safe. If you come here, you'll never want to leave. Thanks for watching my speed tour.
I love that guy. And then just this past week with QSLM Management Group, they had our, we've shared over 15,000 videos. Our #1 video shared on a client's account happened this week on Facebook. Go check it out. This is already dated. Since I made this 4 days ago, it's already up to 10 million views. But 110-year-old lady sharing, QSLM shared content for over a year, well over 100 videos. And this one spiked all the engagement, all the viewers of all the content we've been making for the last year and a half with this one video that happened kind of overnight.
I'll be 110. I was born January the 1960.
How do you live a good, full life?
But my best advice is to treat people the way you want to be treated. I think if we treat other people the way we want to be treated, I think everything would be all right. My whole life, I never thought I'd live to be 110. And to live to be 110, I think is incredible.
Amazing. And the crazy thing is, I had over 20,000 comments. I didn't see a single negative comment. And there was, a lot of times there's somebody out there that'll find a negative way to comment something negative, but that story just resonated with so many people. Okay, so we captured people's attention. They've fallen in love. Now they're wanting to learn more. And so this is where the testimonials, you've kind of earned the right to share testimonials with people. These can be short form, long form. They can be your staff's, sharing the staffing experience, the working experience, or the resident experience. I have 2 examples here that performed really, really well from a channel that had shared a lot of content on it.
I'm 86. I'll tell you what I do. Everybody just laughs at this. I get up every morning at 4:45, and I've done that when I was working. I did it. I was the first one at the gym, go home, have my cappuccino, get ready for work, be at work first, you know, and I don't require a lot of sleep, so that's good. So I get up at 3:45 here, and I sit and have my cappuccino, and I work my puzzles, my search puzzles. But I've always had a lot of energy. Everything is just fun. You know, just fun here. So take my shower, get dressed. 7:30 I leave and I meet my group of friends and we have breakfast. And then from then we go to the movies all the time here. We have a wonderful theater here. And we play games. We play all these card games and it's so much fun.
That video got picked up in the algorithm and got a lot of views. And this is kind of a unique strategy tip. And so we are posting these channels to the Living Care Lifestyles corporate channel, where their individual sales and marketing directors have access to be able to download the list of approved videos from the corporate library to reshare on their individual pages. So this particular, one of the communities where she lives at, or the community where she lives at, the number one comment on the corporate page was, where does this lady live? Does she live on a cruise ship? ? And the comment, the sales director at the community level who managed the Instagram account at the community level responded and said, yes, a cruise ship named, and then named the community name, and then reshared it on the community page, and it got another 800,000 views on the community's channel. And so I say all that to say is the content doesn't go away. It's evergreen. It could reach someone a year from now, 2 years from now. It can be repurposed and reshared and perform way better 6 months later. But her story is kind of, it transcends time, and you'll be able to use it in a lot of different ways for a lot of different reasons. I'm going to skip this next one. It's a staffing working experience job of what it's like to be a server. But we like to share the perception or perspectives of every role that contributes to creating a great living environment in senior living. And so by creating this amount of volume of content, you're able to kind of share the senior living experience as a whole through a lot of different eyeballs. So we've gotten good videos. That's great. We've gotten a lot of views. That's great. Beyond the feel-good side of it, how does this translate to the bottom line, and what is the process to take these videos to the next step? So what we believe in is kind of getting to 100 videos, getting a lot of data from those 100 video posts, and then find the winners. Find the 3 to 5 to 6 videos that outperformed the rest, that did so well organically in terms of watch time, in terms of viewership, engagement rate, all of those different metrics. Find those, repurpose them. Mostly what we see is from the corporate channel, though we have seen some success from individual community channels. But generally speaking, from the corporate channel, you can repurpose it and add text on screen on those winners to target individual communities to run the ad at. And then you can target very tightly around communities with the repurposed version of that video. I'll show you what that looks like. We're actually actively doing a case study right now down in Corpus Christi, Texas, with Methodist Retirement Communities, and they wanted us to, we asked them to run a free campaign to prove that this model and this theory of repurposing high-performing organic content would work. And so this is the result of that. This video, it went viral organically. It got 10, 20, 30,000 views on each platform. Did really, really well. We noticed that it had high metrics in other areas that we looked at. And so we added this text on screen, even though she doesn't live at this community. We added this text on the screen for this community as a corporate brand of what it's like living in a Methodist retirement community. And I'll let you watch some of the video, and then I'll show you the results of this campaign.
We moved in permanently, spent the night for the first time in January. So we haven't been here as long as most people. We love it. We love it. I had to convince my husband to come. I told him that we deserved a better life than what we were experiencing in our home. We loved our home and didn't really want to leave it, but we had reached the stage where we were becoming more isolated. And I said, are neither one enjoying our best life? And that's what we need to do. So after convincing our children, which was difficult because my daughter didn't think I was old enough to come, and I said, how old do you have to be to enjoy living? Come on now, let's just look at this. No tears, none whatsoever. Let's just move on and just enjoy life. I've gotten involved in the exercise programs because I lack a lot of strength and stability that I need to regain if possible. I look forward to those every day. It's on my calendar.
So a point here is so many of you guys that are on this call would have amazing digital marketing companies. If you're producing this amount of content, make sure you bridge the content with your digital marketing companies. Because, you know, if we're working in a silo as the video production arm and you have your digital marketing company, you have Sarah and Katie and their team working and we never talk to each other, we never know each other, we can't supply them this content to be able to share it in all these different areas outside of social media. And when the two groups talk together and we're all three on the same page, you get so much more bang for your buck when you're producing and all this content's made. You have a lot more people using the content that you've produced. So for this particular case study, I actually checked this morning and we're up another 9 to 112 leads. So the goal was to get 1 to 5 leads for this particular community in a month-long case study. We're up to 111 qualified leads that are, Katie made a good point last time, they're not all qualified. We're still getting some of that data back, but we had a specific set of interests. They're all within 25 miles of the community, targeted around this community. We have heard a lot of the leads were cold leads that went dormant in their CRM and have re-sparked new conversations from running this paid ad campaign. And why? It's because it was tested, proven organically. When you see the ad, think about when you're buying clothes or finding a new brand. If you see an ad, the first thing that you typically do is click on where that ad's coming from to see if it's legit. And so in this particular case, when you click that account, you see 500 plus videos that all look the same, that are all telling similar stories, so you can trust the ad as opposed to just putting all your eggs into one video, running the ad, and then there's nothing else there that looks like the ad. And then making it targeted, very localized with a specific hook, a call to action, and targeting a specific interest group in that area. Made it perform well. So the last part is these long form videos, short documentaries, features on different people, your kind of your traditional lifestyle, community, high-end production videos, your real estate tour videos. These are, you kind of have to earn the right for someone to watch these. They're longer. And so people watch them after sales tours or after they've kind of learned a little bit more about you. And so after they've seen all those stories that we just watched, now they're ready to watch these. We don't have time to watch them today, but these have a very different strategy, a different style, all kind of the same goal to tell the story of your organization and your community. But how you do that is much different. It's different equipment. It's different prep going into it. It's less quantity, more quality than a social. So there are differences. You can produce a brand video from a social shoot, but the quality isn't going to be quite the same. You can get social videos from a brand shoot, but you're not going to get the same quantity as you would if you filmed specifically for social media. So that's where it's important to have the infrastructure to kind of manage all the footage that's being captured. Another way that we've seen clients kind of bridge the gap and blend the two together is having a discovery room video. So as you're going to get a cup of coffee for a prospect, having all those different stories playing on a loop from your C-suite down to your caregivers to your other residents. You can kind of play this on a loop and then have a QR code that they can scan to follow your channels. And so when they leave, it's an organic touch point that they'll be able to see the videos you're sharing each week when they leave the community. To wrap things up, the 5 things you can do next week is start consuming content. Go and search senior living, search assisted living, search aging, search things that are senior related on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, and just start watching videos. Then my recommendation would be to partner with a video production company or hire an in-house team. There's several of these around the country. This is what we do. We're a video production team. But someone that has the equipment, the skill, the process, the curiosity to get the stories and the time to execute. And then start creating content. Biggest lesson I learned here is having the infrastructure to organize that content so that when you need to reuse it 2 years down the road, you have the infrastructure to do that, even if a person leaves or you have turnover in that role. When you invest in capturing that content, you want to be able to use it, distribute it everywhere, and then stay patient. Last slide, and then we can open up to questions. So this is my favorite part of the job, is kind of that going back to the Dottie, revisiting people. This was Cleon. He was a pastor down at Lutheran Sunset Communities, a Methodist pastor, and people fell in love with his marriage advice. And so we followed back up with him and asked him what he thought about going viral. And this is what he said.
Well, that's kind of exciting. I think I said some important things, and I guess I've had 2 or 3 dozen people say thank you for the advice that I gave, or my experience, for the necessities of making changes in our lives as time goes along, not be satisfied with where we are. And in married life, if things don't match, well, then you change. And the important thing is some people heard that. For that, I'm grateful. And you work for Dash Media. Okay? I thought it was all of a joke when they first said that was going to go on YouTube or go wherever it goes. But it wasn't. 700,000. Wait till I tell my kids that. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? It means that somebody who knows what they're doing get a hold of you and ask you the questions and get you to talking. And my wife says I probably do too much of that.
Mr. Cleon, all these years later, he's still one of my favorite stories. So to wrap it up, people always ask me, like, what do you hear the most? What lessons do you learn? I think at this point we've interviewed over 1,000 people, and you always can feel somebody's joy. And the seniors that radiate the most joy aren't always the ones that are kind of defined by success, how the world would define it. They're the ones that prioritize their family. They're the ones that showed up for their relationships. They're the ones that expressed gratitude before taking credit themselves. They're the ones who gave abundantly. They were abundantly generous with their time and money. They always seemed to talk about giving a lot more than they received. They always spoke with humility. They were always the ones that laughed, smiled, and cried with a stranger. They always radiated love for others through their energy and their words. And then the number one advice they always gave me was, in difficult times, they always looked up rather than kind of put their head down. And so if I could give any advice that's kind of like transcribed through all the people that we've talked to, is pour your faith into something that's bigger than yourself, speak boldly about it, and then just talk to your people, because you never know kind of the stories that exist in your communities and what they can do for not only your organization, but for you personally. So thanks for having me today. We do have 5 minutes for questions, so I'm proud of that.
Yeah, Nathan, thank
Pleasure.
you so much for sharing these videos with all of us today. I always know I'm gonna laugh and cry when when listening to you, and they're always so impactful. So I really appreciate it. I know everyone that we have worked with who has worked with the Dash team just raves about working with your team. You guys are all so skilled at storytelling, and it's amazing to see the videos that you guys are able to produce. We do have a few questions, if you're okay, just taking a couple of
Yeah.
extra minutes here from audience members. So. Someone asked here, Dan asked, do testimonial style videos perform better as ads than life story videos? I'm curious if you have any kind of general takeaways on which style of videos are better.
That's a great question. So like if you think about it, like Dottie's orange corduroy dress story, that's probably not going to translate great to an ad. You could test it, but probably not. What we typically do is every time we post, we have 5 different ways we tag videos. So we tag testimonials, we tag hybrid like stories that lead into testimonials. And so when we're pulling data, I talked about all these different metrics that we would look at. One of those is we kind of weed out just generic stories and get to the best performing testimonial content. And then we'll tweak the language and the intro hook and the CTA and then run A/B testing around which ones are going to perform better from that. But typically, if a testimonial does well organically, it's going to do incredibly well as an ad.
Yeah, that's such a great tip to run it organically before you're investing paid money in it to really get a feel for what is going to hit with the audience. Okay, one more question for you. This is from Katrina. What tips do you have for equipping community level staff, such as life enrichment or sales teams, to capture quality video content? It's usually not their primary job, but do you have any best practice tips for them if they are given that role?
Yeah, I early on in Dash, I would say go and capture on your phone. We're all carrying these amazing cameras in our pocket and go and film it and then go back and edit it and add these subtitles and cut out the dead space and add music and then share it everywhere. But the reality is you don't have time. And so I don't have a great answer for you other than to have someone on your team. Just see if you can find someone or request someone to help you edit the videos. Because otherwise, what happens is you have an amazing story, you go and film it, you post it one time, and then you ghost your community. You don't have that consistency, and there's a 6-month gap between the time you post your next video and people question, are you still in business because you stopped posting? And so you really just need help. I don't think to do social media and storytelling successfully, it's kind of transitioned into a professional world where 10 years ago it wasn't. You could kind of just film something, post, and be done. There's been so many brands. We're competing with the world, not just senior living on social media. And so you really need help, would be my recommendation. That can be through partnering with local colleges. That can be through finding video production people. But it has to be taken seriously at the corporate level if you want to see real results at the community level, in my opinion. And maybe people disagree with that, but that's my take.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. And I think it's all about, consistency, and you're competing with so much content. So sometimes it isn't realistic to have, some of those other departments owning content creation all on their own. It's such a big role. All right, let me see. If anyone else does have any questions, please pop them in the chat here. We are going to wrap up just so that we don't go over time. So I want to just thank you again, Nathan. How can people reach out to you if they do have any additional questions or would like to watch more videos and learn more about Dash Media?
Yeah, so if you scan that QR code, it will have my contact information. You also can email me at nathan@my-media. Happy to share, some of the examples of videos that we create or kind of the back end system. I think that's where a lot of people, if you book 30 minutes with me, showing you the back end system of how you can kind of do this at scale within your organization. Would love to chat with each of you guys about that. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thanks, Katie, for having me. Excited for these next couple of days.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much, Nathan. And everyone, please stick around. We'll have our next session with Adrian Mansfield from Ad Age Marketing Group. It's definitely going to be a great one as well. So stick around, reach out, connect with Nathan, and we'll see you guys on the next session. All right. Bye, everyone.